Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. This is Judy's Creations in Crochet, and today is April the 21st, 2022. And welcome back to all my regular subscribers, and welcome to any new people who have just found my channel. I hope you enjoy what you see and hear, and hit the subscribe button and come back again. My focus is mostly to show you finished objects and to give you information about hand-dyed yarns and information about indie dyers throughout Canada and possibly the US. I focus more on the hand-dyed yarns just because I know so many other channels focus on yarn you can buy in the big box stores. Not to say that I don't use those yarns, as you'll see today, but I just put my focus in a different direction. So today I promised I would talk about ponchos, and as you can see, both Hope and myself are wearing ponchos, and I will talk about those. My furry friend is here keeping me company today, and I was just checking on him. I'm going to talk about these ponchos, and then I'm going to stop in the middle, and I have a shipment, a box of yarn that I got from Reggie at J Hook Crochet, and I want to show you what I got from her, and then I'll go back and show some more ponchos. So we'll start with what I am wearing. I'm wearing a poncho that is made in the pretty regular or normal style, where you crochet a long chain and you join it back so you have a circle, and then you make at the back and the front, you make a point by putting several stitches. In this case, it's all double crochets, putting several stitches in a chain and more stitches all in the same stitch to make a point. This is nothing special. There are no special rows. The entire thing was done in just double crochets. But I think the one thing that's different about it is in the center, I think it has a double crochet, a chain, a double crochet, and then several chains, and then the same on the other side. So there are more stitches into the middle as you go down in the point, because this particular one, I'm only guessing this is why, it goes very rapidly to a long narrow point. So this goes very far down front and back without quite so much bulk at the center. So if you like it to not center, not quite so much bulk on the arms, and oftentimes they're a little more square, although they have a point front and back, and they don't go so fast into a point, and they have more on the sides. This one goes into a very, very rapid, narrow point. Now, mind you, you might not like how long it is, I don't know. But I kind of like that it doesn't have quite so much bulk over the arms. Anyway, this is made from comfy cotton, and I happen to have some more of it because I think I might make another one. I really do like comfy cotton for ponchos, and I think I might even make a cocoon cardigan. I definitely would make a Ruana in this. So Lion Brand comfy cotton. This is the exact same color, which is called Cool Night. And Lion Brand's comfy cotton has 392 yards, 358 meters. It is machine washable and dryable, and it is obviously a lot of high content of, oh, here it is, 50% cotton and 50% polyester. With 392 yards in it, it would have only taken 2 of these cakes to make this. And in fact, there might have been some left over. I'm almost sure there was some left over. They say that it is a 3-weight. It is definitely a good 3-weight. You can see the colors twisted together. It has some warmth to it. It's not really, really hot, but you know, spring and fall. Spring? I don't know about where you are, but you know, 21st of April, 2 days ago, we woke up to snow. It was snowing in the middle of April. So I guess spring really hasn't come calling yet. Either that or Mother Nature's very mixed up, very confused. But anyway, that is this poncho. I have some other things to tell you about ponchos when I get to the last group, because they are made differently, and I had somebody ask me about necks, and I will talk about necks on them. So that's the one I'm wearing. And then to see the one Hope is wearing, same idea. It is double crochets all the way around. It was a circle, and then you put extra to make the point front and back. This one happened to do a couple of rows where you skip one just to do a little bit of open work. Now this one is made, as you can see, is made from a color changing cake, probably a cake from Hobby or Hobie. I don't know which of their cakes. I have so many of them, and this was made a while back. But what I want to tell you about this one, up close, can you see that it's fuzzy and it has a halo? That's because I wanted it to be a little bit warmer, because those cakes, which are mostly cotton or cotton acrylic mix, are very lightweight, and I wanted to make it a little bit warmer, so I used the cake with another thread. Now this isn't exactly what I used, but it's similar. They have something called Diablo, and they also have Kid Silk. Now Kid Silk is more expensive because it is mohair and silk. This Diablo that I have is mohair with nylon and acrylic, which makes it a little bit cheaper. But it is a single strand. If I can get one free here, I'm going to show you another in a minute too. It is a single strand, little bit fuzzy, very thin. Probably I would never work with this alone, but it is really nice to put with some of these cakes, and it adds just a little more weight to it. It feels so nice and soft and silky almost. And I used it with something else I'll show you a little bit later. But again, no pattern for this one. Simply made in the round, and then you put a point front and back, and keep going. And again, the neck on that is fine. And I used something that I think I got from Ice Yarns that was really, really very inexpensive yarn. I bought this though because I want to put it with some other things over time, some of the other cottons that I have. Okay, so that's 2 ponchos that I have finished, and I have 3 more to show you in a little bit. But next, I want to show you the box I got from Reggie. Now, I took out the plastic bags that were on top, and I'll get to those afterwards. But this is the box I got from her, and it was not a mystery box. She actually had 2 listings on her Facebook page of yarn for sale. And, you know, coming from Germany, shipping isn't real cheap, although I have to tell you it was quite reasonable. But I thought maybe if I bought both of the things that she was selling, she could put it together in one box and it would save me on shipping. And sure enough, she said she could ship both of them for the same price because it was under the weight. And in fact, I was able to buy 2 more hanks of yarn and put them in the box. So thank you, Reggie, for working with me on that. It turned out to be a very, very good box of yarn, very good purchase. So I'm going to start with, when I opened the box, Reggie always puts a little treat in. She puts in a couple of teas. Now, I'm not a tea or coffee drinker, but I have friends and relatives that would drink the tea, and I may save it and put it in giveaways when I do some giveaways. So we have winter spiced orange and fresh glow. I can smell the spiciness in the box. And along with that, she included this, and I'm thinking Reggie made this herself. And I would say it is a bookmark, and I am a reader. Very pretty. Blues, you know I like blues. So very pretty, nicely done, different. And the yarns in this box were mostly were sock weight. She was thinking of them for people making socks. And she cautioned me because I don't make socks. And she says, you know, those are self-striping socks. But that's okay. I'll use these stripes somewhere else. So I saw this color, and of course when I saw this, I thought, oh, I like that. Now these are Hobie happy socks. Happy socks. And I like the colors. And there are 210 meters in each one, and I don't see what it's made out of. Oh, 75% virgin wool and 25% polyamide. So, I mean, it's not super soft at all. They're meant for socks, wool socks. But I like the colors, and I'm thinking I could put something like this with it, which would soften it up. And I've got just over 400 meters, so I could make a shawl, or at least a triangular scarf. I like the colors. So those two. And these are exactly the same, just a different color. This is a little more my color, but still, well, see the yellow? But still, it'll make something nice. And 2 more of exactly the same thing in, now I think fall when I see these. Nice. And actually, you can buy this in a variety of colors. And I think I would consider buying this in a brown and put with these. This one will go with the green I have. I'll show you in a minute. So that would go, and that would soften it up. Then we have the double size, so we only have 1 ball of each, and this is a different company. Allison and May, I guess, is the name of the company, and again, they're meant for socks, but I absolutely love these colors, so I'm going to think of something to make with it, just because I love the colors. It might be quick changing stripes, but that's okay. And this is 75% wool, 25% polyamide, and it has 400 meters in it. You know, I guess with all of this, I should learn to make socks, but I don't wear socks, so I've never felt inclined to learn to make them. Maybe I should try. And then another ball, and again, I like these nice bright colors. Exactly the same as this one, just a different color. And then this is another company, Antarctica. Now this one feels softer than all the others did. And this is, but still 75% wool, 25% polyamide. But it is definitely softer, and it has 420 meters, 459 yards, and again, nice and fall. And make a nice fall shawl, but a shawlette. Very pretty. And what really caught my eye, you'll know why in a minute, is the two of these. Now, there is no ball band. I'm guessing that it is about the same size as this one. Might have a teeny bit less, but definitely these two would make a shawl. And you see why I liked it? The colors, of course, but also see the sparkle. Yeah, sparkle gets my attention every time. So I really like that, and I intend to make a shawl with it. Now, there's still more in this box. This was still part of the one lot that was called sock, I'm guessing sock yarns, and there was this cake. Now, you're all gonna say that's not your colors, Judy, and not really typically my colors, but I do like the combination. And again, it says fall or spring. Because of the bright colors, it says spring. And somebody's going to like it. It is a fingering weight, which I like. And let's just see. This is obviously, I'm going to say, a German brand. I've never heard of them, but came from Reggie, so I would guess it's a German brand. And I think I can read what it says, 75% wool and 25% polyamide. So same as all the others, although it feels a little more on the softer side than the rougher side. And it has 420 meters. So I know this is enough to make some of the one skein scarves, what I call fashion scarves, or a small shawlette. And I will definitely make this up into something. I know somebody will enjoy getting it. Now, finally, there are two more balls in here. And I think I saw Reggie talking about these on her last Yarniversity. Isn't that pretty? I really, really like it. It's called Woolly Hugs. And I think she was showing us something that she made out of this. Again, it says socks, but that is long enough stripes that I don't need to make socks out of it. And it's all in German, but it does say 75% wool, 25% polyamide. It's amazing how they all feel different. This feels very nice, and I like the long striping look. That'll be beautiful. And there are 400 meters. And there is a second one of these. It feels like maybe a little came out of the center of this one. So maybe she had two and she used one and a teeny bit, because it feels a little bit empty in the center and it doesn't look packed in like this one. But everything else is the same, and there's a color I can really enjoy as well. You could almost, well, maybe not. Maybe I'll do them separate, but I really like them. So even though this is a lot of, sock yarn, which I don't make socks, I still really like what is in this box, and I'll make good use of most of it anyway. And then there was enough room to put in two extra skeins, and these are the two skeins she put in. They're the same, different colors. And again, I have to, well, it says Lana Grossa on it, so that would mean it's Italian. Now, let's hope it is hand-dyed. Says hand-dyed there. Has merino in it, that's for sure, because it says that. Something merino hand-dyed. And it says 80% wool and 20% polyamide. Again, they're sort of for socks because they got pictures of socks on them, but oh, I could make anything out of that. And can I find how much is in this? Oh yeah, 420 meters. So that's going to be over 450 yards, 460 yards. And I love this color. Fits right in with my colors, and it's all speckled up here. And although I'm not a big orange person, I really do like this. And the speckles in it too. And a nice shawl. Either one of these would make a nice shawl. I quite like them. And then the second thing she had for sale was minis. She had some mini hanks, and I am collecting minis because I'm going to make a couple of things with minis. I really enjoy getting all the Advent minis. So the first package is just a mixture of a whole lot of minis. Minis typically don't have any kind of label on them, so I don't know what's in most of them. They are almost all fingering weight. There was one that I thought looked like a DK weight, and I think I put it in another package. But there are two here that are labeled, and they come from Little Bishes Stitches. And I definitely know what I'm getting with them because I have ordered from Kat before, and I actually got some minis from her. Now these say 75% merino, 25% nylon, and they feel as nice as any merino nylon blend would be, and I have to think they are DK. Doesn't say, and it might be fingering. You know, not all fingerings are created equal, but these two are thicker than all the other little mini hanks that are in this package. So I won't be able to put them with this, but I'll probably take all of these different. This is another mini that's a little bit heavier than the others, but all the others are thinner, and I think they are 10 grams, where these are probably 20 grams. So I get about 90 yards there, and only 45 in these. But anyway, a nice mixture because I want to do a fair number of things with a bunch of minis. And then there was another package, and I really like this package. This is a complete package. Oh, there's the other one that was in that package I just showed you, this one. And it looks like it could go with this group. So let me show you this. A nice, I don't call it a gradient, but what they call a fade. They all work into each other. And I'll just pull one out so you can have a look at it. This is it's called March Club Folklore and Fairies. March Club Folklore and Fairies. And it says that it is 80% merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% polyamide. You can feel, excuse me. Let me get a drink. You can feel the difference. You can feel there's cashmere in that. That is really nice. And it DK weight, says right on it, DK weight. And each one of these is 45 meters or 49 yards. Well, DK weight, it would be shorter. And I really like these. 45 times 3, 6, 8. It wouldn't be really big. And I think I want to make something of a size. So what I have done is there is a hand dyer here in Canada that I really, really like. And she has DK yarn. I know I like her yarn. And she happens to have a walnut. a dark brown. I thought I had another one that would be close that I could show you. But I think these would all look really nice with a dark brown. So I'm going to make either a big asymmetrical triangle with these. The only reason I hesitate is every color would be a different width, but I mean, that's acceptable. Or I might decide to make a bias scarf. And a bias scarf is something that is straight, but you're decreasing on one side and increasing on the other side so that the actual rows they go on an angle. And I made this a long time ago. I've shown you this before. But I thought if I could make something like this, I would make it wider and put it dark brown, like a walnut color, with these colors. I think they would be really, really nice. And I may include this color with them. I'm not sure at the moment. So I really, really like this package. So, and most of you say, but those aren't your colors, Judy. But I do like fall things as well. So I will make this sometime in the fairly near future, along with all the other things on my list to make in the near future. I have enough for 2 years in the near future. So, okay, that brings me to the end of the package I got from Reggie. So, moving on. I just had to turn the heat off. It's always cold down here, but it got a little bit warm. Okay, I have a few more ponchos to show you. Now, these two ponchos and the next one were made the same way. Big loop, join, and so on. So I don't have a lot to say about this one. It is the same idea, and you can see I've put in some rows of skipping like I did in this one. This one is made with a yarn from Hobby or Hobie. I don't know if anybody knows which way it's really said. This is what was left over from the ball. It was a ball of Winter Glow. I got this Winter Glow in quite a few different colors. Let me tell you a little bit about the Winter Glow. It has 200 grams, 700 meters or 765 yards in the ball. It's a big ball. And what is it made up of? Oh, 51% wool and 49% acrylic. So it's a wool acrylic blend, and you can wash it in cool, but you cannot. I'm not sure. That says don't, and that says you can. I wouldn't throw it in the dryer. But you can see how pretty these work up. And like I said, I had this much left over, and I was talking about that Diablo. I bought that Diablo in this color, and it comes in a lot of colors, and I am putting the two of them together. So the leftover from my big ball plus this thin, and I'm trying to decide what to make with it. I think I want to make a cowl. I started to make something and it's not the right size. So I'm tearing it out, which is fine. I'll frog it back and then start again. And it could make quite a good size scarf or a cowl and a hat, although I don't make hats, but maybe my girlfriend would make the hat. Anyway, I had quite a bit left over, as you can see, and this had 765 yards. So you can see I was able to make a poncho and still have leftover from that ball. And this is It might be a 3. If it is, it's a very thin 3. It's not as heavy as the 3 I showed you in the comfy cotton. Okay, so now let's talk about necks. The neck in this and this were fine. The trick is to get the circle the right number of chains, the right length of chain that you're comfortable with the size of the neck. And I measured this one, and this one is about one half, if you put it out straight, 13 inches. So that must mean the whole thing was 26 or 27 inches. This one I know isn't. I measured that much, and it is 18 inches or 17 and a half. So it's quite a bit bigger. Now, some people like the big necks and it slops down on either side, but I know I don't like a big neck. I don't want it any bigger than this one is right now, and I don't mind if it's a little bit smaller, more like that size. I had one on that was 12 on one side. I'll show it to you later, and it was just a teeny bit small. It was pulling here, but for a smaller or tiny petite person, it would be good. But I'm thinking if you lay it out this way, flat, so that you have the point and the point here and here. See how big this one is? This one is almost 18, 19 inches. But if you have it 13 or 14, you're probably going to be happy with it if you don't like it sliding off. And I have had a couple of people say to me, what do you do about the big sloppy necklines on a poncho? Well, if you're making this kind, put fewer chains in it. It just means you'll have fewer stitches going from corner to corner, but you can still follow the pattern. There are other things you could do. Like this one I think is too big. It's all done. I followed the pattern. I found it too big. I could go back now and take this and attach it in a point and go around the neckline and probably do a double crochet 3 together in each point. Double crochet 3 together at each point. And that could be done as well. Now, a friend of mine made the poncho that I told you about on a previous video, where I make 2 rectangular pieces and then you stitch them together. And I had the paper, and if you haven't seen that video, go back and look at my big poncho video in the fall. And I had 2 rectangular pieces of paper, and I showed you how I taped them together to make a poncho. And a friend of mine took that idea and decided to make herself a poncho over the Christmas holidays. And what she did when she was done, and she had the right size neck, but maybe a wee bit looser than this one. And she went around, she said she had to do a little bit of probably right here, double crochet 2 or 3 together to get it more circular. But then she just kept going around and around and around, and she probably made like a cuff going up, like a cowl, and then it just fell down. It folded down, and it made a very, very nice neckline on her poncho. But it wasn't tight. It fell loose like a cowl, but not sloppy loose. And she said she would take a picture and give it to me, and I will show you it sometime in the future. Now, these were all started from a chain in a circle. Now, I have 2 others, and they are sort of the similar construction. I'm going to make some more of these. And this is constructed from a granny square. Here's the granny square, just plain solid on the sides, not an open granny. And you take the 4 granny squares and you put them together. So you can see there's the square front and back, and then you put the other one at the shoulder So you end up joining it so that the front and back have the granny square on point. Granny squares on point, and then you join one granny square here, go across the shoulder, and join the other one on the back, and the same thing on this side. Now, most of the time, these granny squares, I believe this one was around 18 or 19 inches. So once again, you get this big granny square going over your shoulder. The first one I made, it was quite big. I'm sure it was at least 19 inches in the square, and it's falling off. Every time you move, the shoulder falls off, and I don't care for that. Now, some people like that casual fit, and that's fine, but I didn't care for it when I made it after the first one. So in that particular one, I joined some yarn and I stitched around and around several times, and I've seen many of those that do that. I also made another one, and you need to go back to my poncho video in the fall, and I show you where I made the front square and the back square, and then instead of putting a square here to join them, which is too big, I simply, if you hold it up straight, you can see it's a straight edge on the edge of your granny square. I simply did rows back and forth until it was the size I wanted for my neck, and then I joined it to the back square, and I did it on both sides. All right. Here you can see I've got 4 granny squares, and when you do 4 granny squares, in order for this one to fit onto this one, it has to be the same size, so you have to have this great big measurement across your neck. So I did the one with the straight rows back and forth. This, by the way, is from Hobie. It's called Dream something. It is quite lightweight, and they have it in a lot of colors. Dream wool, Dream something. And then I got the idea that, you know, these big squares in the center are about twice the width as what you needed. So you could make, well, maybe not twice. If you made a 19-20-inch square, you don't need much more than 10 going across. Probably a little more. You want at least 12 going across. So I decided that I could make a big enough square in the front. I ended up making 4 squares to make up the big square and put them together. And then instead of having another square as big as these 4 to go across, I would just have 1 square here and 1 square there, half the size of this, and it would make a nice neck. And I believe I measured this one, and this one is 12 inches. So the squares are 12 inches. I might have put a border on it afterwards. The squares are 12 inches, which is just big enough. I think I would like 13 or 14. So you see I have 1 small square on the arm piece rather than the great big one, and I put 4 of them together. I won't make this style again, though, I'll tell you, because I don't enjoy joining things. I'm terrible. I don't really have wonderful seams when I join things that are being crocheted. But I would definitely make 1 big square here, and then I could make 2 small squares that would be along the shoulders and arms. Or you could make the same pattern in a rectangular size, or you could just do rows going back and forth across the shoulder like I did before. So that's one way to make the neckline smaller. The most common way is, once you got it made and it's too big, is just do rows. See, there's a couple rows there just for trim. Once I joined it, I go around the neck as many times as you need to, but you do have to put in you know, a double crochet 2 together or 3 together to get that point effect. Otherwise, it will look kind of strange. Now, this is called jeans. And I believe I got the yarn from Hobium, and it's got a high cotton content. If you wanted to make a cotton one, which is better for the summer, this would definitely go nice with jeans. So that is the way I make different ponchos. I have to tell you, the easiest of them all is the two rectangles that you put together. And in fact, I'm going to start probably later this week another poncho, and I'm going to use Momenti from Premier. This is so soft, and this is the chain construction. I haven't even pulled it out yet, but it has a chain construction, and they say that makes it very lightweight. Although it is a number 4, I have 2 cakes of this. They are, I think they're 400 and something, 437 yards. So I won't need the whole of both of them, but they're so soft I want to try something. So I'm going to make the 2 rectangles, put it together. And hopefully I'll have that finished for next week. Next week, I will show you this finished, if all goes well. I have finished a cocoon cardigan this week, which I have to show you. And I think I have 1 or 2 shawls yet that I haven't. Oh, I have a wrap and a shawl that I will want to show you next week. And I have more hand-dyed yarn that came in this past week, and I think there's another shipment coming this week. So I'll have some more yarn to show you next week, along with some odds and ends of finished objects. And I just want to prepare you for 2 weeks from today. It is my plan to feature the designer C.J. Brady. You've heard me talk about her a number of times, and I have made quite a number of her patterns, and I just thought I would take the time to feature her and show you what she does design. She does do a pattern, what I call a fashion scarf, not a big bulky scarf for outdoor wear, that I really like. And it takes a lot of her patterns take 1 skein of hand-dyed yarn. Some of them take 2. Some of them are made with DK. She makes cowls as well. I'm going to do a whole episode of her patterns 2 weeks from now. But next week, we're going to have an odds and ends of things I've made and a little more hand-dyed yarn that has come in the mail. So I hope you will join me again next week to see what's happening. And until then, happy hooking.